Dayshi kind of warned us already that after the first two maps he would start to have some fun and that he would start to play for real, since apparently he didn't like Frost and also Daedalus Point. At this point in the game we are looking at Polar Knight, and Dayshi somehow was able to suddenly win 2 in a row. On the last game, Dimaga, his opponent here in the best of 5 at the Esports Venture Cup, tried to go for a massive Baneling bust, and Dayshi, he nearly didn't take damage. It was actually pretty amazing how he defended against this. The Banshees helped out and sniped a couple of the Banelings. He had good splits. His Sim City was also very well executed. He just didn't take the damage that Dimaga needed to dish out, especially since Dayshi started with a double Banshee and harassed the mineral line on the main base of Dimaga and at the natural. And with him taking out 21 harvesters, Dimaga found himself in a spot where he was like really low in eco. He kind of had to do a lot more damage than he would have had to dish out without all those drones dying. So he had to GG out, and Dayshi forces Dimaga in a 5th game after the Zerg player initially won the first 2 maps and found himself in an overwhelming lead. So suddenly the air up here is getting pretty thin for Dimaga. He had 2 match points and he kind of threw both of them. Now we're going into game number 5, and will Dimaga be able to win it? Is Dayshi going to be the one who advances to the next round of the tournament, to the semifinals? I don't know, but we are going to find out very soon, since the game has already started. As you can see here, Polar Knight with a hatch first for Dimaga at the natural. And starting to the top, we have once more an early gas, and a super early gas here for Dayshi, whereas the barracks is not done just yet. Most likely going to be Reapers in the opening once more. So let's see how that's going to work out for the Terran player. That is, yeah, could see the Reaper here, and there it is. Reaper number 1 goes down there immediately. The wall at this point completed, and Dimaga with the pool right away, not going into too many additional drones or the gas. Probably going to go into extra queens, and then the double gas roughly around the 6-minute mark. That's kind of what we would expect here from him to see. But it's more about the mid game that I'm a little bit surprised, because so far Dimaga was playing a couple of weird strategies. Those Baneling busts, they can definitely work, but the 3rd base was already an issue for him. I don't know. I'm very curious to see what's going on. If it's going to be the more standard game, because Dimaga, I feel he was a bit experimenting a little bit against Dayshi also as well in the last few games. So time for the Reaper to show us what he can do. Show us his skills. Dayshi with the micro, can he kill down 1 or 2 drones? We might see. And well, let's have a quick look there. Main base aggression is going on, and 1 drone is moving away. Could be morphed into an extractor. No, tries to get another one. And where are those? No lings, actually 2 lings. That's not going to be enough. Oh, he gets 1. He gets 1, and he gets... Oh, I was about to say 2, and then he starts with the Spore Crawler, which is something that he has to cancel, of course. But yeah, there we have now the lings, and they are still chasing that Reaper, but the Reaper just with a few scouting information. Reaper number 2 is, as far as I can tell, still up here somewhere. Yep, controlling the Zalnaga watchtower. And let's see. Dimaga with the extra queens as already expected. Goes into 4 queens in total. The early 3rd base for Dayshi in zone base. That's 3rd command center. And we have also for Dimaga probably going to be the double extractor very soon, within the next 30 to 40 seconds. For now, Dayshi is just... Does the Overlord actually see? Yeah, the Overlord saw. So Dimaga knows exactly what's going on here. He is fully aware of the double base that we see in the main, or the double command center that's in the main base. Double command center was built. And well, we have Widow Mines now suddenly for Dayshi, who's like, well, you might actually just try to go for the same thing once again. And now is the time for the double gas. 1 gas, 2 gas. And that's what you usually get if you go for the double gas instead of the 1 gas a little bit earlier. So roughly around the 6-minute mark, the double extractor happening. And with this, we will see once again the tech. And talking about tech a little bit. Okay, that is very interesting, because he saw that Overlord, I want to say. Does he see that Overlord actually? No, he doesn't. I was pretty sure that he saw the Overlord going into the space, but he is kind of hiding that tech in plain sight. Dimaga's vision sees everything, and he's like, oh, starport, look at that, no additional barracks, faster tech, oh, look at that, there's also a tech lab. You're going to Banshees again. This is basically Dayshi sending Dimaga a letter and being like, dear Dimaga, I'm gonna attack you with cloaked Banshees. I might go for the cloak upgrade, and given that I have 2 gas, which you actually could know if you move in a little bit, I will get the cloak upgrade too. Please prepare in advance. And Dimaga could send a letter back and say like, okay, thank you very much, Dayshi, for telling me I'm going to do exactly that. And that letter back would still arrive before the Banshees hit the main base of Dimaga. That's how bad that scouting, or how good that scouting actually is. How bad it is for, how bad the situation is for Dayshi here. So the Banshee is being built, and Dimaga, he knows everything. That battle that we had here between the Hellions and the Queens ended kind of evenly. One queen goes down, and that's of course pretty cool for the Banshee itself, because that means that the queen count is now only 2, and we have additional queens coming in. Here are already the Spore Crawlers, because Dimaga is like, yeah, I saw that. And the Overlord, yeah, I mean, 1 Banshee, that's all there is, without cloak, so shouldn't do too much, but still. This is something where Dayshi, yeah, thought he could hide it, but he was hiding his buildings in exactly the wrong spot. A little bit unfortunate for him. Well, here come those Hellions. In Germany, you would call them Kampfbuggies. Do you Americans know what a Ketka is? That's kind of what a Hellion is. I don't know what the English expression is. It's probably the same thing. I think it's actually a brand. Ketka is a brand in Germany where children have these small thingies where they have like push cars. Don't know what you would actually call them. But yeah, for now we have the Banshee trying to take down at least the Queen, but with the Spore Crawler there, it's highly unlikely. Dimaga! Well, he's gonna lose a couple of units there, and he's gonna lose that Queen if he doesn't pay attention. Losing another drone, he needs to send one of the units in his main base. The Viking takes down the Overlord, and by now we have the Zerg player also taking another base, moving straight down and taking the 3rd, because over here there's still a Widow Mine. That Widow Mine already has a kill. And yep, therefore he doesn't really want to risk losing even more units. We have the Roach upgrade started, and that is very unusual, because the one thing that you usually don't want to do is use Roaches against Terran players, unless you go for a Roach push. Roach Hydra is something that a lot of Zergs have tried to make work, but the problem is that you are very vulnerable against drop play, and Roaches scale very badly into the late game. Very badly at that. So where we go, once again, Hatch being attacked there, and the Hatch needs to be careful because it's not only the Hellions and the 1 Reaper, it's also Banshee, and that suddenly does damage. Here comes the speed upgrade for the Roaches, and 7 are already being built, +2/+2. That actually is pretty cool that he's this fast with his upgrades. The 1-1 isn't done for Dayshi, and he's already on his way for +2/+2. If he wants to attack with the timing and go for +2/+2 upgrades, that could actually be exactly what he needs there. The one thing that Dayshi needs to kind of do is realize that there is actually a heavier commitment to ranged units, and then go into siege tanks. Siege tanks are pretty epic against what Dimaga is currently building there. But we have instead Widow Mines, and Widow Mines are not doing all that well. Siege tanks are definitely the better options. Yeah, to the bottom left, Dimaga is still getting that Hydra Den into the game as well, so that's gonna help him a lot more. Starting to the top right, we have Dayshi still committing to Widow Mines, and this is basically very much the style that he used against Lingmid or Baneling. But I mean, Widow Mines are effective either way. But still, he would like to have siege tanks right now, that much I can tell you. Nice snipes here with those Roaches. Yes, he's gonna lose all of them, but he's sniping nearly all of the Widow Mines. And he's killing another one, and this is a massive amount of Roaches, and Dayshi realized that, and he's like, oh shit. And moves back immediately, because that is more than he gambled for. And I wouldn't be surprised to see the siege tank production started. Marauders is also, of course, a really nice tool against this. +2/+2 doesn't waste any time. That's actually really good for him. He won't be able to really just close that gap in time, but he is not going to lose more time than that. He's not going to give Dimaga a bigger window of opportunity than the Zerg player already has. That Banshee, on the other hand, I mean, that is the most annoying Banshee ever. The Hydralisks are gonna finally put an end to that, I guess, but yeah, for now that army is actually pretty strong. The one thing that you really have to realize is that that army composition that Dimaga is currently using is pretty strong in that mid-game phase that we have right now. With Hydra speed started and then the 2-2 nearly done, this is the time when Dimaga should really start to utilize it, especially since he's already hitting max supply. But later on it scales very bad into late game against Terran. The only thing that I really want to say over and over again, because I feel that it's a big point, we do not have any kind of siege tanks. Maybe Dayshi felt he couldn't get enough siege tanks out in time and was relying more on those Widow Mines. But we have roaches with a lot of armor, so they are not going to do too much. And here we go. Dimaga is moving in. He wants to win this game, and both of them are on a massive amount of supply, but the SCV is already coming off the mineral line. The Banshee here still getting a couple of kills, 4 kills so far already. And we have actually Dimaga just crushing this. He's reinforcing immediately as well. Widow Mines just don't do enough damage against roaches because of the armor, and siege tanks are so much better. Siege tanks crush this composition, but he didn't have them, and there are also not enough marauders. He's now moving straight into the natural as well. The 2 supply depots here at the front with the extra supplies for the cooldown. Of course, one of the priority targets for Dimaga in just a few seconds. He wants to get rid of the army first. The Overseer, even without the speed upgrade, helps him so much against the Widow Mines to finally take them out and not allowing them a second shot. But this is Dayshi getting slaughtered. He looks a little bit like Dimaga played with his opponent on the last 2 maps, and now he's getting serious. But Dayshi, with a few siege tanks on the high ground here, like back here, he could have held against this. Widow Mines don't do the trick. Dimaga is gonna claim victory in game number 3 and is gonna win this series, this best of 5. There's the GG, and Dimaga going to advance to the semi-final of the Esports Venture Cup.